That other guy, 85 was it? Roger, Roger. Well, good morning, you guys. We're gonna get going. We gotta get food for the animals and get our head shake off the heebie-jeebies from getting out of bed. So, good morning, and knock on wood, we'll get some good skip in here, and this up and down will go away for sure. Blessings, 73s. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm back out. 951, Moreno Valley, Southern Cal. Well, there's 44. I'll stand by here and wait to hear that 44. Come on. It's another beautiful day here in Florida. Yeah, Mother Nature's doing us kindly here with this mild fall, almost wintertime. I don't know what the issue is. We're having 45-degree nights instead of 30 degrees, and bright and sunny, clear skies, no wind blowing dust in the desert. Really do appreciate you, Mother Nature. All right, you've been the baby. Appreciate the contact. When we were here, 73s, we're on our way into a new day. Bye-bye. What?
Oh, NC girl, what's happening, girl? What's happening?
All right, we're out of here.
Just, I'll leave it up. I mean, there is a little bit of skip in there, but I don't know. Thought I didn't really see a whole lot of people doing some live streams right at the moment, so I was I was thinking maybe I'll pop on and see who all shows up and see if I can scare up another good conversation. I was lucky that that live stream I did the other one that was like ran about 13 hours or whatever. Um, it actually stayed. I thought YouTube was gonna delete it from me because it went over 12 hours, but I was kind of lucky. It actually stayed.
I got you in there. 555 Clearwater, Florida, 951 Southern California.
Okay. I had a message. Somebody came in. I'm hanging in there. I put 11-year-old cat down. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. I'm glad it stayed too. And I'm sorry to hear that. I've had to put down pets before. So, yeah. That sucks. It does.
85, standing by right there with the wave, 951 Southern Cal. How about that Needle Bender 44 out there in Florida? Needle Bender 44, 951 Southern California with the warning wave.
Yeah, like I said, NC girl, I'm gonna tell you something. Just talking about that one stream. You know, I think we covered quite a lot of different things, and then there's some things that not a lot of people cover. When it comes down to certain subjects or whatever, and that's what I liked. I'm in Florida, northwest corner of Florida, up here in the Panhandle. Um, so, I mean, that'll tell you how far I am from California because that's what I'm hearing in my radio right now. I can probably talk to them just like they were locals and stuff because the skip's coming in. But yeah, that's the thing about conditions, man. I can when it's working right, I can get all over the place. But when it comes down, I really enjoyed that, man, and that's the reason why I was sitting there thinking. It's like maybe I could probably scare some people up, and grab a few people on the panel, or whatever, and have some conversation. Yeah, I'm in Panama City actually, so um, pretty close. Yeah. Well, see, I even on the way I was I had to do some stuff this morning, so I was driving out there and back, and I actually listened to the restream, because I was trying to catch some of the stuff that I may have missed or whatever. But it was like I actually enjoyed just listening to that because it was like listening to talk radio on my in my car. So I mean, that was pretty cool. But it's a lot of hours. So I mean, you know there's a lot to get through. But I started thinking about it when we were talking about that crap, that the shot thing. Um, you know, one of the things that a lot of people, a lot of stuff out there. I'm from Panama City Beach. Used to live close to Gulf Shores. Right on. Casual preparedness. Good to see you out there, man. Yeah, I've lived all over Florida though. That just happens to be where I'm at the moment. I'm living on some family property out here. Um, but what I was thinking about on that deal is like one of the things that doesn't get discussed a lot is the fact that the creator gave us something called an immune system, and we got natural immunities to this stuff. And uh, honestly, man, that probably be the best thing, because when you take this stuff, you're basically rendering your natural immunities null and void, and then and replacing it with that synthetic crap that's getting put in your arm. You know what I mean? So I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, why in the hell is that subject not being talked about too much? Um, Natural immunity type of stuff to that, and just leave me alone. I don't need it. The creator's already provided everything I need for this stuff. But that's just on that subject, for instance. I was thinking about that earlier. And then, I started looking at all kinds of other stuff. Man, I got off that stream actually that Sunday and yesterday, and I ended up going over to Black Spring with Autumn. She had a stream going, and I sat up there for a couple hours. But the majority of the subject was on like all the AI and computers and uh, robotics, cybernetics, and all that stuff. Because I was sitting there, and just recently that like they just come out with that 3D printed eyeball, for like a prosthetic. Um, I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, if it continues in this route, and the prosthetic industry, like for instance for amputees and stuff like that, it's pretty amazing as it is right now. But in the future, it's going to get even better. And I'm almost, because it goes along the lines of like plugging your brain in with the computer, and onto the internet. Um, and uh, we're that in that line of like transhumanism and stuff like that, basically putting that gray matter that's up in our head and sticking it in a damn tin can, and then living like that. Um, uh, I started thinking about it. It's like on the on the subject of the amputees. I mean, I can see the extreme benefit of, like, for instance, like you got an accident of some kind or whatever, or you're born with like you're missing an arm or leg or whatever, da 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 da. That for prosthetics, so you can do what you need to do. But there is that fringe of thinking that, well, it could get to the point where people were, like, for instance, get their arm chopped off on purpose because they want because they want to get one of them prosthetic arms. And oh yeah, well, it started making me think about, like, for instance, how far would it go? Because it starts off right now as, like, okay, we're helping people with when it comes down to prosthetics, and we're trying to, like, come up with this new technology to do that when it comes down to limbs and all that stuff. But if it got to the point, like, um, almost like a choice, instead of, like, getting it on a necessity basis, but like a choice. Like, for instance, like, I want one of those, uh, like one of those bionic arms that, like, converts, like, into like a phase cannon or some shit like that. And I can if I had enough money, I can go to a doctor and and surgically amputee, or well, basically just cut off my arm, and then so I can have that prosthetic arm. If I had enough money, for instance. Um, and then, like, for instance, if I was that person, yeah, the Merc. Well, yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Yeah, I've been looking into that too when it comes down to, like, exoskeletons and stuff like that. um, because that's, like, in my opinion, that's the start. That's the start. Because eventually, it'll get to the point where, instead of the exoskeleton, they'll try and replace, what's in our body as it is, like the actual skeleton or the actual muscle, whatever. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, like, for instance, if you could just basically replace the whole damn thing from the neck down. I mean, you know what I mean, and just have, like I said, like your gray matter that's up in your head just sitting in a tin can, and that was really where, you were basically, you are locked in that little tin can of that body. But some people would actually like that kind of thing. They'd want that kind of stuff. And like, it would start with a freaking hand or an arm. Next thing you know, they get their legs done, they get both arms done. You know what I mean? What's if, like, for instance, if the stuff is available, and you got, and, like, if it comes down to money, if you got enough money to do it, why not? It's like, where would you stop? I mean, it's kind of like how people do, like, Botox and shit like that. You know what I mean? It could get in that level. I mean, because that's what I was sitting there saying. If I can almost imagine myself, if I live long enough, when it comes down to all this robot shit, and, like, cybernetics, and, people, melding with damn machines and stuff, I can totally see myself as, like, a used parts salesman. You know, like, going down to the flea market or sitting on the side of the road and selling used arms and legs and eyeballs and whatever. I can totally see myself doing that. Yeah, that was another thing too. I was sitting there talking to Autumn about. She was assuming it's kind of like more like a 20-year thing, and I agree with you. Casual preparedness. It's getting closer to. I'm sorry. It's more like that number. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays, because of how fast and how exponentially fast the technology is growing, and with the use of, like, even in today, with this, quantum computers, and how all this AI is growing, and it's going toward that, AGI, artificial general intelligence, and it's moving closer and closer, faster and faster to, um, ASI, artificial super intelligence. And then, I don't know. There's a part of me that says we're kind of fucked, but I don't want to believe that. Yeah, it was 65. What public had that though, NC girl? Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Anti-gravity master. in 1952. Well, see, I've been looking into that too. I mean, ever since World War II, they were working on it over there in Germany, and a lot of the scientists and the technology and that kind of stuff actually kind of got brought into the states. Like, I mean, some of it with through was it Project Paperclip and a few others scenarios where. I mean, as far as I know, even some of the top Nazi scientists and stuff like that, for engineering or whatever, was actually put in high positions of NASA, from what I understand. Um, yeah, Operation Paperclip. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah. See, the thing is, man, I've uh, I've looked into a lot of different stuff and a lot of different angles and stuff. I'm trying to figure it out, and trying to get a visualization on, um, the path we're going on, as a whole, on the whole planet, for instance. Because I mean, this is not like a local thing here in the states. I mean, when it comes down to the technology and robotics and blah blah blah, AI, and all this. No, that's a worldwide thing. It's going to affect and touch every single person on this planet, one way or another. So, in my opinion, since it does affect and will touch every single person on this planet, it is a big deal, and people should be looking at it a little bit more, scrutinizing it, a little bit questioning it a little bit more than they are, because I mean, what's out there, especially ones that have the unlimited funds, like governments. Because I'm pretty damn sure, like all these like sci-fi movies and stuff like that you see on the on in the movie theaters or whatever, and um, a lot of the technology that's being portrayed in that stuff, damn well that there's a 5-star general somewhere that's got, like, I don't know, 50 freaking scientists locked in a bunker or something like that somewhere down there with a whole bunch of high tech toys, and he's like, you know what? I think that's pretty cool. Can you guys make that for me? And they'll get right to work on it, and they'll come up with something. You know what I mean? And yes, Skynet is a real thing. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It was actually part of the drone. Was it um, Hellcat, or no, not Hellcat, the Predator drone system, and it actually it went wonky one time, from what I understand, from some of the stories that came out at that moment, and then it kind of just, people, they kind of dropped it, trying to make people forget about it, where one of those Predator drones was being, it was flying autonomously with that Skynet AI in place, and it it went and actually bombed civilian targets, instead of the actual, or whatever targets they were going for. It did it on its own. It kind of like changed course and everything, and so it made its own decision, basically. And I know, that's why they kind of like tried to hush it up when that story first broke. It's like they tried to scrub it from everywhere, so nobody even pay attention to it. I can't remember what that where exactly, what country. I want to say it's like Afghanistan, but I don't know if it was or not. And yeah, and yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, see there, and then like down here in Florida, I mean, you see a lot of the launches from Cape Canaveral and stuff like that too. So I mean, he's been doing a lot of launches, plus to perfect that re-entry type of thing, where they can reuse the damn thing, where it just basically comes back down and lands, instead of like you know having to build a new one every damn time and reusing it and stuff. So there's kind of um, um, trying to work out the bugs on that. so it works good. And I know they do a lot of launches over here in Cape Canaveral. So, and then there's also they do a lot of launches out there toward like California, I think too, out that direction on the West Coast. Because actually that's where Tesla's most of Tesla's stuff is out there on the West Coast anyway. A lot of his factories and all that kind of stuff. See, I personally would love to see like either a live stream or me being there in person watching one of those things actually come back down and land. Because I mean, I still have my doubts on, you know, I mean, it's pretty freaking cool if you can actually achieve it. And then also even those ones where they were landing that sucker on like that floating landing pad out in the water. I thought that was pretty neat too. If all that can be done for real, that's a pretty neat idea. I mean, it's a pretty neat concept and all that stuff. I mean, if it all actually is for real works and all that other stuff, but I have my doubts because I have yet to see one in person. Come back down and land. I've seen some takeoffs, but I have not. I've yet to see one in person or on a live stream, for instance. It come back down and land. Yeah, I've even if you got a decent size, decent zoom on a good camera, you can probably you should be able to like actually see the ISS when it passes by anyway. Right, right. Well, I don't even see though. I don't. Me personally, yeah, they can sit there and try and say it's like this grand thing, exploration to learn more about the universe and all that other stuff. Man, I don't see the freaking point of going to freaking Jupiter or whatever. I don't see the freaking point of spending like I don't know how much the damn NASA gets out of our freaking tax dollars. It's like I don't know 2 or 3 billion a freaking month. You know what I mean, or something like that. Uh, I don't know. Well, I mean, you that stuff and see that stuff that you're talking about. I mean, that's but their plan is basically have like I don't know how many, but like a shitload of them like surrounding the whole planet, like interconnected. You know what I mean? That's their plan as far as I know. Kind of like an out, um, uh, like a bubble of satellites looking back down on us in a way. And it's supposed to be part of the communications satellites also is to help with the 5, 6, and on like 7G um, infrastructure because their plan is basically is so no matter where you are, no matter where you are in on the planet, you can get like internet service or something. You know what I mean? You can be in the deepest, darkest jungle on this planet and you'll still be able to get Wi-Fi or something. You know what I mean? That's their plan. That kind of shit. That's where those satellites come into play. The 1,000 points of light, as they say. Well, yeah. I mean, um, I started looking at like just physical evidence, like in California, out that direction when they had that, or it was out that direction when like a few years back where they had that. I think they called it the campfire fire or something like that. And I was looking at the evidence of they were claiming this was like a wildfire that did this and how it started and just kind of grew and whatever and burned a lot of stuff. Well, if you look at the like aerial footage of the areas that that supposedly got burnt by this supposed wildfire, all right, there was areas that were like little neighborhoods and stuff. The only thing that was burnt was the freaking houses. The trees were still intact. Hell, even some people's front yards, the green grass was hadn't even been touched, but their home was completely fucking vaporized. Okay, and that's just not how a wildfire works. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I mean, uh, there was evidence of yeah, directing exactly. Um, there was evidence of, like, for instance, like cars sitting out in the driveway of these houses where the whole freaking engine was just melted. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, seriously, the whole freaking engine, the block, it was melted, like, and you can see it, like, where it was like big blobs and drips and shit and just like running down the road kind of thing. And, well, a forest fire, no matter, no matter if like the car caught on fire, it would not get hot enough to actually melt an engine block to the point where it's just like, you know, drips down on the sidewalk or some shit. You know what I mean? So it was something else, and they tried to push it under the rug, uh, and try to claim it as it's climate change that caused it. I mean, for real. I mean, I think it was like some governor or mayor or something like that was like they were walking around some of the damage and stuff, and he for real wanted to blame it on freaking climate change is what did it. Yeah, I mean, and see, girl, I'll tell you something, man. I had a dream where I was riding in a yeah, I agree. I was riding a friend's car, and I remember seeing like flashes of light, like coming from the sky, and then going in like this. There was like a real wooded area that was in front of us. Like I said, I'm in a dream, but I was in my friend's car, and I could see this flashlight kind of like just flash in front of me, and it's like not even a second later, but where it looked like it was going into the woods, this massive fire starts, and it gets bigger and brighter, and I start seeing more of these little flashes, and then and where it looked like it was pointing, or where it looked like it was going into the woods, next thing you know, I start seeing a fire start up, and it gets bigger and brighter and stuff like that. I wake up, but it was around, I think it was probably about a couple of weeks before those fires, um, like California and stuff like that, like the campfire thing, all that stuff happened. Now, I have no fucking clue what that if that dream was actually like a premonition type of thing or what. I have no idea. But I remember that, and like I said, and then it's like when I was watching the stuff on the news, and then I started um, I was searching out on YouTube people that were actually going out there and actually getting, either video footage or doing live streams of the damage. And I was sitting there looking at this stuff, man, and I'm, just the stuff that I've come across, metalworking, for instance, and stuff, and the type of metals and how much heat it takes to melt and blah blah blah. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, a damn forest fire didn't do that shit. And then on top of that, only burn houses and their vehicles, and not, all like the trees and shit like that out there. Hey, SG, what's going on? And I don't know. So there's that. Up there also, NC Girl. There's that up there too. You know, um, I mean, they got all kinds of stuff shipped up there right now, and that's why I'm not crazy about even having a lot of that our earnings being like stolen from us and turned around, and then next thing you know, they're pumping all that shit up into space and stuff. a lot of it is actually to be used, back at us, you know. Um, 'Cause, I mean, they got no, it was not a normal forest fire. I can tell you that. I mean, I'm not a firefighter, but I've been around forest fires. All right. And I know how a fire moves. I know what it needs. It's a living thing, in my opinion. It needs to eat. All right. And I know how it works. Even firefighters, when it comes down to backdrafts and shit like that, just the characteristics of how fire lives, in a sense, it did not do that. All right. That was not a forest fire that did that. I don't care what people try to, they try to blame it on climate change or brush it under the damn rug like it's, don't look at this. Don't pay attention to the man under, behind the fucking curtain. Redneck suburban idiot. Well, good to see you out there, man. What is this channel about? Well, well, it's my channel. I do whatever the hell I want on it, and then on top of that, I do it mostly for me. I just really appreciate everybody else that likes to come out here too. But majority of stuff I do is on CB radio shit, skip conditions and stuff like that, or maybe conversations on the CB. And then I do other stuff, man. I like to make stuff. I might do show stuff about like me making things or whatever. But recently, when I was starting to do some of these live streams, trying to scare up conversation is what I'm doing. Um, and like just recently, I can get people on the panel and talk about some of these subjects I've been talking about, whatever, current events, some taboo subjects like, politics and religion, electronics, computers and robotics, cybernetics, AI systems, this fucking invisible boogeyman they're trying to force down our throat and then put crap in our arm with because of it. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, don't forget. I'm not a ham operator, but yeah, I talk about radio stuff. Like for instance, if you're a radio guy, you can talk about that. I guess that's about it. Yeah. Um, Canned ham radio. Are you talking about the YouTube channel uh, or the actual like an actual canned ham radio? I think I've heard of a canned ham radio. Like when it comes down to a radio, it's called the canned ham radio. Um, yeah, yeah, it's about whatever I want it. Yeah, it's about whatever I want to talk about. And then on top of that, like I said, it's like kind of like a free flow thing. I mean, I haven't put the link on there, but if anybody does want to come up, now I think about it, I'll put that up now I think about it. But um, yeah, because I'm gonna tell you something. SG YouTube kept it. Our last that last stream that I did Sunday, it kept it up. So it's still up, but I think it shaved off the last, I don't know, hour or so off of it or whatever, because it cut it down to 12 hours and 50 some odd minutes, or no, yeah, or 11 hours 50 something minutes or something like that. And yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It was an actual radio and stuff. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, kind of like a like a Go Box. Um, you know what I mean? Um, for radio stuff. So you can just grab the box, go, and then you can set up all your equipment and wherever you're at, and then you'll be on the air. Yeah, cut it off after 12 hours. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like yeah, everything after 12, um, it's gone. But everything before 12 is still there, and that's still on YouTube, which is cool because there was a lot of stuff when we were talking about the common law thing. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to stay. I didn't want it to be deleted, so I'm glad it didn't get deleted. And because there was a lot of stuff that we covered through that that'll make people. I actually started listening to it in the car today. I went back to the replay. I started listening to it in the car, and it's definitely thought provoking on that level, on those subjects and stuff. So that's what I really enjoy it. I really appreciate the conversation, SG. That was really cool, and I want more conversations like that. You know what I mean? And I like having the diversity of countries too, and different peoples that are from different cultures and stuff. Kind of like finding that common ground, because that's really what it is trying to find that common ground where instead of getting that division and shit like that keeps on getting forced down our throat all the time. And let me see here. Let's see here. There is a little bit of skip on the radio, but it's not much. Yeah, very little. It was some earlier, that's why I kind of turned it on. But then I was also like, well, shit, maybe I'll sit up here and kind of talk with whoever comes into the chat, and then see if I can scare up some conversation. Hey, what's going on? Well, let's see here. Who that? Oh, that's SG. What's going on? I'll put you in there. What's going on, SG?
Yeah, cool. How are you?
I am okay, man. Okay.
Good.
Other than like, I was actually I was expecting to do some work today and try and earn some money, but all that kind of fell through. So I'm kind of back at the house. And I thought I'd just pop in on a damn. There was really nobody else doing live, so I was like, well, shoot, I might as well go ahead and throw one on and see who I can scare up. Black Spring with Autumn. Good to see you out there, girl. Good to have you out. I mean, and do you have the link if you do want to pop up too. That's up to you too. But yeah. So what you out there trying to get some dinner this evening there, SG?
I bought some of that for later. Yeah, so I just come out to get a few things. I bought some speakers for my car, and some little knickknacks,
Yeah.
that I found. Yeah, just the essentials. Speakers for the car, it's essential,
Yeah, of course, man. You gotta have some freaking music when you're driving, man. It's
yeah.
I got a problem right now. My stereo doesn't work in my car at the moment.
Well, how about this one? That's the stereo. If you can see that, there's nothing there.
Oh.
No stereo.
Yeah,
you hate it when the car comes to a no stereo.
I also noticed that damn steering wheel's on the wrong side too.
No. The steering wheel's on the right side. Just take another look. It's on the right side.
No, wrong side.
No, it's on the right side. So, see, you drive on the right side of the road.
Right.
But we drive on the right side of the car.
There you go. That's right. There you go.
You see, I've had this conversation with so many people in the US. I used to have Hondas, and speaking to the US guys with the Hondas, which, to be honest, there's a lot more of over there. So we had to speak to them about quite a lot of things. They'd always be like, "Yeah, your steering wheel's on the wrong side," and I'd bring that up.
Yeah, I did. I was doing a video, and I had a buddy of mine that lives in the UK that was sitting on a chat or whatever, and I was driving down the road, and I was going across one of the bridges down here, and there was like all this road construction, so it was kind of like really hectic. And he's like, quit driving, pull over here, you're on the wrong side of the road, and all this other stuff. He's like, you know, we're all like, no, 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 no. I'm doing it right. Y'all drive on the wrong side of the road. I never figure. I mean, the only thing I can figure about, like on that aspect, I think it stems from like how a ship ported into a onto into a into port. I think that's, you know,
Uh-huh.
it always docked like on a certain side. I think that was how that all that came about. Like either, you know, right side or
Funnily
the
enough,
left side.
I know a little bit about London taxis because that's what I'm in. I'm in a
Yeah.
London taxi, or an ex-London taxi. Um, there's a place in London, I can't remember where it is, but I know it's like one of the big, it's a Ritz or something like that, you know. You go there, and basically there's a little roundabout, and it's the only place in Britain where you enter on the right-hand side of the road, which is the opposite side we should be on. You
Right.
pull up on the right curb, people get out on the right in the back, and then you pull out, obviously, on the right onto back onto the normal roads, and then you filter into the correct side of the road. It's just some kind of
It's like for
what's
a
it
drop
called?
off.
It's a tradition, and
Oh,
that's because it's such a small roundabout. That's where the whole 25 foot turning circle comes in with the London taxis. They have this 25 foot turning circle, and most vehicles have like a 36 foot
right.
turning circle. So it's
Okay.
basically you're almost 90 degrees. You can almost go in a little circle if you slow down enough, you know.
Right. I mean, that thing's only like it's not very long, is it? It's kind of a short type of car, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
Well, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, okay. Yeah. All you
Quite
miss,
long.
yeah, all you're missing is like you know, yellow and black checkers on it, right?
Ah, well, that's the US. This is
Oh,
this is
okay.
a black cab, but it's blue. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's, it's the old London transport, like, you know, got the London
Okay.
transport thing. If I'll just show you the back because it's they're
What
quite
year is
cool.
what year is that
This is
anyway?
2006. This one is.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got a load of trash in the back because I just bought some.
Now
But yeah, that's basically
that
it. You know, you
that's
got your
pretty
flip down
slick.
seats. You got these
That's
seats. They flip up actually, which creates a massive area.
that's
And
pretty
yeah,
slick.
there's my 400-watt speakers. So yeah,
You got an amplifier running all that stuff for those speakers?
I've got an amplifier, but I literally only put it in today. So it's like I've got an amplifier, but I haven't put that in yet. I bought those speakers. I've got a sub under here. You can barely see it.
Right,
They've got
right.
a 12-inch JBL sub. So I'm getting there.
Right on.
Yeah,
It's
getting there.
not a bad looking car. I like how you got that. The lights and all that stuff came with the car, right?
Somebody put those in. They're literally. I've covered up the camera. They're just what are they called? LEDs, LED strip.
Yeah.
On the top, it's falling down at the back.
It
You've got
almost
your transport thing.
it almost reminds me of those like party limousines and stuff, you know.
It is a lot like a limousine. There's the money tray. We pay for your ride. Yeah,
It's pretty cool. That is
and,
pretty
and of
cool.
course you've got this bulkhead here. You know,
Yeah.
plastic
Yeah.
solid bulkhead.
And you can close that off, for instance, all the way, or
It is closed all the way. It's
oh,
solid. The only gap there is this tray there, and there is a gap at the other side, just of like a couple of inches. But this side, it's all sealed, all
that's
in the
cool.
ceiling. If
That's
I
pretty
just put
cool.
the light on again, oh no, wrong one.
No, yeah. Yeah.
It's all sealed, like, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got like a bevel on it as well, so it kind of comes bigger and then smaller. You got like a coat hook there with my charger on it.
How'd you
You got
find that
another
car
flip
anyway?
down seat here. Oh yeah, there's loads of them.
But I mean,
Lo-
you can they're being sold like Like, no, or do you
Yeah,
have to go to like an auction or something?
I'm even thinking about trying to buy them to ship to other places in the world.
Wow.
Not everyone is prepared to be bothered to do that, are they?
Well, since that was a cab, that's probably got a lot of miles on it, right?
Oh yeah. Let me just see how many mine has. I think just catch up and make sure. Why is it not? Oh, there we are. What are we? Yeah, you're not going to see that, but it's going to come up in a minute. Is it? Yeah, it's just there. Okay, 364,805.
Wow.
That's quite low, really. A lot of them get to about 500.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what have you done anything with it? Like when it comes down to like any you've done a tune-up, I assume, and all that stuff since you got it.
No, I've had it 5 weeks, I think. 6
Oh,
weeks.
okay.
I had some problems with the door locks. They were worn, or they didn't have the keys, or whatever. So I had to change this driver's door lock. They were asking like a lot of money for the locks, so I found one cheaper and I changed the lock, and now I'm all good. So that's good. I've got a bunch of a little list, a bunch of things. There's like, I need to do a service. A tune-up would be good, but
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, being like a taxi and all that stuff, I would assume, like, for instance, like, okay, it has pretty decent miles on it. It's probably definitely need like a tune-up. The spark plugs, probably like maybe check the suspension, maybe I don't know, the brakes. Those are the first things that pop in my mind when it comes down to that.
yeah. And I do need to do a bit of a service, but it passed its MOT, so theoretically, it's not that bad. MOT is the check that we do once a year on all vehicles on the road in the UK.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
It's
in
quite a
some states
stringent
they got
one,
that
but
same kind of thing.
yeah. Well, over here, the actual London cabs are MOT'd once every 6 months instead of 12 months. So, and of course, the actual London cabs, the ones that are in London anyway, because they are in other cities of the UK, but the ones that are in London, they actually they get serviced like once every 3 months or something. They get MOT'd every 6 months, and they have to adhere to a lot better, more stringent checks, and restrictions. Like rust starts appearing somewhere, well, they get it sorted.
Dude, I've
Whereas
seen
a lot
videos
of
of
times
these.
you can get away with the rust.
Dude, I've seen videos of these cops who are just like they they'd give so much crap about just a millimeter a millimeter when it comes down like the tire tread. They'll come up there and be like, "Oh, you're a little too low," all that stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, like a millimeter. You know what I mean? I mean, come
Yeah.
on now. But
Well, I mean, the law is so many millimeters, so
yeah, I hear you.
There was a time when I slid off the road on some mud. It wouldn't have mattered what tread I'd have had, but I was a young guy and I didn't care.
Right.
I learned my lesson from this. It was a definite learning process. But he said, "You've got 4 ball tires," and I'm like, "Oh, that could be expensive fine." And he said, "Well, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to do you for 1, and I'll do you for the worst one." And he said, "Okay, I'll do you for the most tread you've got on this tire, not the least." And the most that I got on the tire was 0.3 millimeters.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I learned from that.
Yeah, right on. Well, I mean, I see the importance if you got ball tires. There's just safety reasons and stuff like that. But getting fined for it, that just to me, it's like crazy.
Oh, I know. Oh,
I don't know.
I have somebody I'm picking up as not as a taxi fare.
Oh, right on.
Just to be sure, I'm not a taxi. But yeah, I do have someone I'm picking up. They're ready now. So I mean, I'll stick around, but I'll have to mute myself just for a bit while I drive and that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Or I can leave. It's no worries.
It doesn't one way. It doesn't matter one way or the other. One way or the other to me. I
It's
mean, you know what I mean?
probably safer if I leave.
Right on,
Just to
right
be
on,
clear.
right on.
Okay.
Well,
So
hey, hey, if
I'll
you
catch you in a
get the
bit.
chance, yeah, if you get the chance, come on back and
Yeah, I mean, when I get home, yep, no worries.
all right, man. All right, mate.
Peace, bro. Always good to talk. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's see here. Um, oh, and Black Spring, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I sent you an email. I don't know if you got it or not, but I sent you an email of this new robotic or humanoid robotic thing that's got this really articulate facial features and stuff. I mean, it looks pretty close to being human type of thing. I don't know if you got it or not, but it's like a recent downloaded video and stuff. So it's interesting. It's on that subject of stuff that you were talking about last night. So what's up, Master Ron? How are you, man? SG was just in here, but he had to take off for a minute, and then he'll probably be back later because he had to um, transport somebody, and then when he gets back home, he might pop back in. But how are you doing, Master Ron? You doing good? Um, and I'm gonna tell you something. Yes, there are times, man, alien believers that yeah, cops have nothing better to do. There's a lot of times like that, and I was watching a couple more auditing videos today. Like there's this one auditor spitting cobra, and some of the stuff that he goes through, and it's just it's amazing how much of the resources that is wasted by cops, um, and just because there's somebody standing where the camera, making sure they're doing what their job right. You know what I mean? To me, it makes it very suspicious when um, when a cop doesn't uh, you know like it when you're making sure they're doing it right. you know? Yeah. What, Gregory? What's happening, yeah? Yeah, I'm glad to see people come wandering in. Like I said, SG was just here a minute ago, but he had to go pop out and do some other stuff, so he might be back. And I do. Now think about it. I am going to do something. Well, um, um, there was well, when I started this, there wasn't anybody doing a live, so and what I had planned today kind of fell through, so I decided, well, shit, I'll just go ahead and pop on and see what kind of conversations I can scare up. You know what I mean? Because I was sitting there. One of the things that really was popping in my head earlier, and I mentioned this earlier in the video anyway, is the subject of natural immunity, which doesn't get really talked about, and because everybody wants to focus on the crap that they want to put in your arm, and that is and having that as like the solution. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, well, you know what, the creator gave me exactly what I needed, which was that called um, immune system, and I don't need that other stuff, because that other stuff, once that gets in you, um, it kind of like eliminates, makes your natural immune system like null and void, and then it replaces it with that synthetic crap or whatever. That's on a random general sense, I guess. I mean, I'm not very articulate on how to say some of this stuff sometimes, but the natural immunity angle or the natural immunity part of it. I mean, because I think that needs to be discussed because they're trying to throw that subject under the rug, as they say. And but that was one of the main things that I was thinking about, especially with all the other stuff that's going on in other countries, like how much that subject is actually being discussed, in other countries versus like here in the U.S. or whatever. Because I mean, on a literal sense, like I don't really hear unless I actually have to search for it or something like that. I don't really hear a lot of news and stuff from other countries, because they want to focus on what here. They want to focus on their narratives. So that's all they want to put in our face. If you look at mainstream at all, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if you break it down to it, I mean, if you get down to it, we're an organic robot, I guess. But there is that quote unquote soul or spirit or whatever. Because I mean, there has been medical studies where at the time of death, your body would actually become lighter. I mean, not like light enough to float, but I mean, it would actually, like for instance, like let's say that you're laying on a slab, and that's a scale, which they have in those like cadaver type or mortuary type places. They got a thing, and it's like a big dish, so nothing's going to escape. Blood, guts, or whatever that might happen to ooze or whatever, da da da. Nothing's going to escape. So the weight before you the weight of your body and everything in it and all that other stuff before the time of death is like, let's say, 200 pounds. All right. Well, at the time of death, um, if I remember correctly, at the time of death, your body actually gets like a pound lighter. But but nothing actually was taken from the body. Nothing is removed. Nothing's, it's still there. Everything is still on the scale. But at the time of death, something left, and it equated to almost a full pound of weight. And so there's that. 16 grams. Okay, there you go. I mean, I know it was somewhere around there. I'm not sure if I'm not even sure if that's exactly on the 16 grams thing, but that sounds about right. There's a movie called 16 grams. No shit, really. I don't think I've seen that. But I have. I mean, I started looking into some of that stuff too because um, I'm interested in like ghosts and all that stuff. And then I'm also I dated this one girl that was like really into ghosts and stuff like that, that paranormal stuff. So I started looking into, what evidence that like people that are into the paranormal and stuff like that, what evidence they have gathered over the years. Like some of it is just some crap, you know what I mean? But there are some stuff that's very compelling, and um, it makes me wonder, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, there's no rational explanation for that I can think of. I mean, so there's got to be some other stuff going on, other stuff that's in play that I'm not aware of, or I'm not able to observe, or at least you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not able to explain away in rational terms or whatever. Well, I mean, in my mind, it it does, in a sense, prove, you know, um, it just when 16 grams just disappears into thin air type of stuff. Evidently, the energy, the spark that is keeping us, it gives us life in a sense, that actually has a weight to it. It is actually a physical, something physical, right? Um, I don't know. It it also kind of reminds me on that the story of Gaia, like the Earth is Gaia, is the mother, and when life on this planet dies, that that spark, that soul, lack of better words, or goes back to Gaia, and then basically kind of when life is now becomes born on this, it's kind of like all that soup of all those souls and stuff like that. Something will fill the next life coming in. I mean, it also that on that level, it also goes into those same types of cultures that we're talking about, like past lives. Like like what is it? The I think the Chinese or whatever, or Asian cultures, they believe, and they see that wheel of life, constantly revolving, and yeah, right on. That's very profound, alien believers. Hold on, I might get quiet here for a second, but hold on one second, y'all. I'm gonna do something. All right. Yeah. Well, that's because everything is connected. All right, everything is connected. I mean, you got to understand when it comes down to particles and molecules and all that other stuff. The only reason why, like this table that right here that all this stuff is sitting on, the only reason why this table is like a hard surface is because all the molecules and the particles inside it, or that creates that, is just densely packed, just like really freaking close together. But the same type of particles and molecules that create that actually creates me also. And I'm not, and I'm flesh and blood. All right. And the molecules and particles that are in me are the exact same thing as the table. It's just that they're not close together. You know what I mean? They're a little further apart. So that's what makes all this fleshy shit, all that fleshy stuff. All right. The bones, that's the same thing too. That just means those particles and those molecules are closer together, more dense, and it creates something a little bit more solid. All right. And so we're all connected and through that. And then on top of that, along like for instance, if you break it down to molecules or particles, for instance, between each particle, no matter how close they get to each other, that space in between each particle is constant throughout the universe, no matter where you are. And because that space is in everything. Me personally, now this is one of those things where, I don't want to push my views on other people. You know what I mean? But the way I see things, uh, um, um, what I can consider the creator lives in that space, lives in that space in between particles. That's That's what I think. And then like I said, I have my own views of what I think the creator is also. But that the creator lives in that space, and that is in everything, including everything. I mean, everything. It's in us. It, it's kind of like how was it like how Obi-Wan Kenobi was talking about the Force. It's like it's in us. It flows through us. It binds us together. It's everything. It's in everything. That space in between particles is in everything, and that's where the creator lives. All right, and yeah, but it's just one of them things, man. If people actually realize that we're all connected, and we can get on that common ground as a people, and get past all this bullshit that's being forced down our throat. You know, they talk about like how the system works that's or how the system is set up where we're in now. They consider silence is acquiescence, or like in a sense, um, you're giving your consent by not saying anything. And what was it? They talk about, or I hear that that thing called like, the silent majority or the silent minority or whatever. I don't know. The key word is silent. All right. In their eye, in the system's eyes, that silence is compliance or consent and acquiescence. So we're gonna stop doing that. I mean, for real. Um, yeah, that's what I think too, man. Alien believers. Tell you, but like I said, I mean, what I think and what truths have been shown to me in my life is for me, and the way I see things is my way of seeing things. I don't expect you or anybody. I'm not talking to anybody specific, but um, I don't expect anybody to do exactly I do. You know what I mean? Or believe in the same way I believe, or think the same way I think. I don't expect anybody to do that. But I'll tell you about it, and then you can make your own decision. You know what I mean? Um, like I said, I'm not going to be one of those guys riding up in a damn 10 speed, knocking on your door. Can I talk you about the wingnut religion? You know, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Don't know Purple Spliff. I have no freaking clue. Because it's easier. You know, what the old saying is like, what was it? The hard road and the easy road. Uh, you know, um, it's so much easier to just take the easy road. You know what I mean? And but in my mind, there's nowhere where worth going. Um, Taking the easy road. Nothing worth going to on the easy road. I mean, there's some perks. Don't get me wrong. There's some perks on the easy road. There's some, but you know, on that aspect right there, Spliff. Uh, on the half asleep, I kind of agree with that because I mean, in my gut tells me they know deep down um, the morality and values and stuff like that, and like right between right and wrong and all that stuff, and but they shove that under the rug and do something else. You know what I mean? They know it in their heart that, like for instance, if they were told to do something, all right, that's totally immoral and stuff like that, all right, they know in their heart, they know deep down, they know that's wrong, that's immoral, but they just like shove that on the rug and do it anyway. It's easier, you know. The hard road, actually, man, would be to not obey that order. I mean, because there would be nothing easy about not obeying the order, right? And so, girl, I am really sorry about the cat, man. That sucks. It does suck. I got 2 dogs over here you can have. I got a male and a female pup that I'm trying to find a good home for. You know, I don't know. I don't mean to laugh or anything like that, but you know, it's just I'm sorry, and I'm just trying to make you smile if I could. But I do got two pups over here you can have. You know, if you need fill a space. But it's probably way too soon the way you're talking right now. It's like, you know, you don't even want to think about a pet right now, probably. Yeah. Anna Bananarama. That's a new one. Hello. How are you? I just don't know. I don't recognize the name, but what is going on? That's a pretty cool picture, actually. I like that picture. Um, how are you doing this afternoon? It's well, not quite. It's 11:41 local time here. So not quite noon yet. Oh yeah, I hear you. No worries on that, NC girl. Right, right. That's right. Fantasy. What is going on with you, man? At noontime with you, man. Afternoon. Good to see you guys come popping in here. That's pretty awesome, y'all popping in. I am trying to, for the new ones in here, the newcomers and the new ones on the stream, and then whoever else that may not know who I am. But anyway, what I'm trying to do at the moment, I'm trying to scare up some good conversations on whatever. I mean, actually, personally, I want something that's more, it's got substance to it. Personally, I like conversations with substance to it, where I understand and I'm fully aware that we cannot solve the world's problems right here on a live stream. But God damn it, why can't we talk about it? You know, that's just about how I'm seeing about it. You know, that's what I'm thinking. So for those out there, you know, especially if you live in a different country than me. I live in the United States, so if you happen to live in a different country, I would love to have conversations about some of this stuff that's affecting all these countries around the world right now, and kind of like get um, a good idea what's going on in your neighborhood. It's controversial. Yeah, I don't care, you know what I mean? Because honestly, man, I mean, I mean, like for instance, like I said, I mean, yeah, but I was thinking about that one of the topics, which I don't really have like a list of topics or whatever I want to talk on, but one of the things that was popping in my head is this, that the subject of natural immunity, which doesn't get really discussed a lot, especially in other countries. I mean, it does a little bit here in U.S., but even like in other countries, it doesn't really get discussed a lot. So I'm in Florida. That's where I'm at. I'm in the northwest corner of Florida. Yeah, stay at home bit. Well, if I can make money doing this kind of thing, where I can just sit here and like do live stream panels and stuff, and make money, that would be cool. But I don't see that happening. So I got to go out and actually, I gotta weld up. I got. Hopefully, I got some welding to do tomorrow to make some money. I had some welding that was supposed to be done today, but that all kind of fell through, and because I need to make some money this week, man. I've spent too much in the past couple of weeks, and I need to make some money this week, big time. It's all the psychology. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. That is the thing. The powers that should not be, what they want to control, what they want to have full control over is your mind. And that's it. That they want control over your mind, not your brain, not your body, your mind. All right. If they got control of your mind, everything else falls in place because everything else is going to follow. They got control of your mind. The rest of your freaking body goes with it. All right. So that's what's really being attacked right now on many levels and many different directions all at the same time. So yeah, that's the thing is just trying to figure out, like in a sense, put up firewalls on your mind in a sense when it comes down to all this crap that's trying to be forced and bombarding us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever, from the time you're born until you're dead. Right now, how this thing's going. Um, world tour of truthers. Well, that is kind of the kind of the thing I'm thinking about when it comes down to these panels and stuff. It's like the last live I did, what was it, yesterday, on that one that was like I think it was like 12 hours long, what got kept on YouTube. But um there was me in the US, uh um there was SG in the UK, there was Cool Tools in the UK, there was New Gurus in Canada, which he wouldn't claim to be living in Canada, but that's to everybody else. That's where he's at. To everybody else, but it was cool, um, having you know different viewpoints from different countries all on the same panel about some of the same things that is affecting all of us at the same time. So, trying to get out of the local area and that little bubble around your neighborhood and stuff, and trying to. It's like me going traveling around the world and talking to these people, but I'm doing it through YouTube, which is cool. I like that because then I don't have to go, you know, thousands of miles around the freaking planet just to talk to these people or anybody. So, Billy, that live is still up. I mean, on the last, I don't know, after 12 hours, the 12-hour mark, everything that was after that, it got deleted, but everything before that stuck, and it's still on my page. So I was glad, actually, because there was a lot of stuff in that thing that I didn't want deleted, and I was afraid it was going to be deleted because I went over 12 hours. but I was lucky actually, I guess, because yeah, just everything that was done after the 12-hour mark got deleted, which wasn't much. Which I mean, it wasn't much, so that was cool. Yeah. Nude Guru, what's happening? What's happening with you, man? Just kind of hanging out. Yeah. It's about all I'm doing at the moment. I think there's really nothing going on the radio either. But NC girl, I used to live in Asheville, so I mean, like I said, I think you said you were out there toward Cherokee and stuff. So I like the mountains out there. Out toward the Parkway and all that stuff. It's just I just cannot stand the snow. It's the only part that I don't like. Yeah, New Guru, it did. And that is cool. I'm glad. Yeah, because everything after the 12-hour mark got deleted, which really I don't think there was a whole lot after the 12-hour mark. I think we stayed on for a little while longer after that, but yeah, it wasn't much. So the bulk of the conversation, the rest of the 12 hours, that stuck. So that's a good thing. And but I'm gonna probably I don't know, do 7 or 8 hours at most from now on, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do know that now there's that 12-hour mark. That's a good thing. So then I'm aware of that now. Appalachian Highway, yeah, right on. Yeah, I've been drove a lot of it, a lot of all that out there. But uh, I used to work up toward like the Pisgah Mountains, stuff like that, Mount Pisgah. I used to work up that way. The whole Trail of Tears. That's an interesting too, man. Here in Florida, like growing up in school and history class and stuff, we didn't learn anything about the Trail of Tears. Not a single thing about it. Um, but up in North Carolina, for instance, the when going through school there, the history classes in the schools there, yeah, they learned about it up there. But down here in Florida, we didn't even know the Tears even existed. From the history classes that we got down here in Florida. You know what I mean? I mean, it was mostly focused on Florida type history. If it was going to get into that, I mean, I didn't really get up to anything up in north. That's the thing. Yeah, you're right. They didn't really teach much of it. Period. I wouldn't doubt it because it's a pretty much a damn it's a big ass stain. You know what I'm saying? I don't really want people to remember that too much because that was pretty fucked up. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, when I was an NC girl, when I used to live in Asheville, I used to live right downtown. I mean, I lived in a loft apartment above some of the shops right downtown on the main street down there. What is that? Lexington Avenue or some shit. I can't remember right offhand. But yeah, I actually liked living in that loft apartment. That was nice. I liked it a lot. I didn't have hardly any parking to park my vehicle, but I really liked the apartment. I mean, and I liked the convenience. You know, that was another thing that kind of that I liked is the convenience. That always that's always like the thing that hooks you in when it comes down to being inside the city. That's the part that hooks you in is that convenience. You know, hell, I was walking distance to pretty much whatever store I needed. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like to get food or gas or whatever. Shit. Hell, it takes me 15 minutes driving just to get to a gas station. Take me 35, 40, depending on traffic, but it take me about 30, 35 minutes to get to a Walmart from here. For all I'm saying, which I like living out here and where it's kind of secluded, but that was the one thing that really kind of honestly, I probably wouldn't doubt it. Honestly, man, and unless that guy is like like if he was like not from there, but if he was from Asheville or whatever, I probably knew the guy. I mean, if he was, I spent like I think I spent 4 years in Asheville. I think another year and a half in Waynesville. I also spent time out toward Bat Cave. I don't know if you know where Bat Cave is, but I spent time out that direction too for a while, for a few years actually. Yeah, depends on who you ask, man. There's some people out there say the Holocaust never happened. I'm telling you, man. The American Holocaust. There's people out there that are actually trying to say that never happened, and then also like that stuff in Germany too. There's people trying to say that never happened. That's stupid. Yeah, I actually, man, I was doing I don't know, I was doing a job or something, and I was down in Miami, and I met this woman that actually was in one of them camps back in the day. Because back in the day they would actually tattoo them with a number, and that's I mean I saw the number on her arm, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly how it started, but we started talking, we started getting in, we had a conversation. I was sitting next to her or something like that on a bench, but it was down there in Miami, and uh, we started talking, and the subject came up on the tattoo and stuff, and she was telling me about it and all that stuff, man, um, and she's seeing, and she in her eyes, this was years ago. I mean, like I don't know, shit, that was probably like 15 years ago. But anyway, she was in her mind was seeing the same type of stuff that was going on back then is happening now in the U.S. And while she was still alive, she could see all the different things, all the different things that the Nazis did back then. Some of the tactics and stuff like that they did that back then is exactly what's in play today. And and one of the things that she basically kind of made clear to me anyway is just don't ever give up your guns. That was the very first. That was one of the very first things that they did is disarm them, and and then there was no way to fight back after that. You know, so just listening to the voices from the past. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, NC girl. So I wonder, what's is there anybody have anything they want to have a conversation about? Something that's substantive, however you say that. Can't even speak. Crap, whatever. Substantive has substance. I hear Needlebender 31 in Washington State on my radio. Washington State. Yep. Same people that. Yeah, I agree. You know, I think we got to be a little bit more specific sometimes too. That's another thing too. I started thinking about that. Yeah, substantial. That. I should have tried to go for that. I mean, it's kind of like Porky Pig. Kind of like stuttering, and then he finally says what he was trying to say, but it was a whole different word altogether. That's probably what I should have done instead of trying to say substantive, whatever. Should have said substantial. I can't even freaking talk sometimes, man. It's like some of these words, man, it's just like they don't roll off my tongue. You know what I mean? Plus, I don't. My mouth has never been really the same since I got in that motorcycle wreck. So it's like still kind of my lips don't move like they should. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to figure out parallels and stuff like that on how to uh, combat the current situation. Yeah, I got a bike. It's sitting on the pull barn. It needs new tires, some carburetor work, and a lot of. It's been sitting there for shit. I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, which sucks. But I got in a wreck. Um, some guy ran a stop sign. I T-boned him and tried to take the side of his truck out with my face, basically. I'd ride myself too if I had a bike that was working. It drives me nuts. I just don't have the money. Buy new tires, get the carburetor fixed, I probably need to get the gas tank all kind of worked out because the damn thing's been sitting for so long. I need to reline the tank. Probably need to redo the damn gas lines and the filter and all that other stuff. And then on top of that, since it's been sitting for so long, man, all the leather on the seats, I kind of need to do something with that and blah 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 blah. Just more. It would take me probably about 2 grand to get it back to where it was uh, where it needs to be. Put it that way. I mean, I can probably spend less than that and get it rideable, but it take me about 2 grand to really kind of, I think, to get it back to where I like it to be. Yeah. No, mine's not a Harley. I have specific taste when it comes down to Harleys, and I like older Harleys personally. And that gets into money and harder to find. But I have a personal, um, uh, a crush on like old shovelheads and knuckleheads. Um, that's what I like. And yeah, they're harder to find and more expensive. I don't even like the newer stuff. I don't even like the new Harleys. I think they suck. I think they're crap, in my opinion. Those are pretty neat. I've seen them, and I've seen some pretty decent three wheelers that aren't Harleys, but I've seen some pretty decent ones. I am, honestly, man, I'll tell you this. I'm not crazy with the front wheel drive type with the three wheelers with the two wheels on front and the one in the back. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about it. Quite honestly, man, if I'm gonna go that route, I'd rather have four wheels, you know. But that makes it a car, or a four wheeler type motorcycle. You know what I mean? Kind of like the same kind of deal like the three wheelers are, but with four wheels. I don't know. That'd be cool. But I don't know. I'd rather just stick to my two wheels until I can't fucking lift my leg over the damn bike. I get too damn old or whatever. Can't even lift my leg over the bike. Then I'm like, okay, maybe I need to think about a three wheeler or a trike. You know what I mean? I like Triumphs. I like Triumphs. Or you know, I don't know. At the moment, I've got a Kawasaki. It's a Vulcan Classic. It's kind of like just like a road bike. Um, but it needs a lot of work.
This is Tango Charlie 01, Western Canada, province of Alberta.
Yep. Alberta, Canada, and Washington State coming in the radio, off and on. In fact, I'm gonna turn that off. There you go. Audio. Yeah, I can see my voice. Anyway, no, I agree. I mean, it's all, in my opinion, is just get back to the nature. It doesn't mean we have to go back to living in freaking, mud huts and caves and shit. That I mean, that's the other thing too. A lot of people think it's like you want to get back to nature, and that's the first thing that pops into mind. What, you're gonna go back to living in a mud hut and fucking caves? Well, just because I want to get back to nature doesn't mean I have to live in a fucking mud hut and a cave. Stupid. Yeah, it's a big eyeball, and what it is there's a man with a torch walking into the eyeball. The way see that is like, okay, for instance, the eyes are the windows of the soul, right? Well, that guy, he's exploring into the soul. He's an explorer into the soul. I like that picture. It's actually a pretty cool picture. That's why I picked it as my avatar, I guess you would call it. But I'm the explorer into people's souls. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see here. Right on there, purple spliff. Right on, right on. I'm kind of hoping some people that want to get in on this and will come on in. I don't know. Like I said, at the time when I started this thing, it wasn't like anybody doing any lives at the moment. So, and and then plus it was in the afternoon time, so maybe it'll bring people in. Who knows? Well, everybody's taking off. It might be one of those things where I could just shut it off, start another one later. You know, catch everybody again when they're not busy, that kind of thing. I don't know. Like I said, this I kind of do. It's like a random thing for me anyway. I don't really have any kind of set time from doing anything. I just, you know, had some time, so I thought I'd pop up and see what kind of stuff I can stir up. Yeah, yeah. Well, honestly, man, I don't mind catching up, but I mean, when it's just me myself and I'm just talking with you guys on the chat, I mean, I kind of want it a little bit more. I want people to come up on a panel. We'll have these conversations too. You know what I mean? Um, you know, because I've seen other channels that have done that kind of thing where they're talking, but it's just them, you know, responding back and talking with the chat, which is good. I want to kind of keep up with the chat, but I kind of like having like maybe one or two, three. I can have at the max six, but a few people on the panel with me so we can talk, and then you know I keep track of the chat. I keep track of all you guys in the chat because I was in the chat for so long. I know exactly what it's like, and then so there's a lot of channels out there that they end up having people on on the panel and they totally ignore the chat. I don't want to do that either. So I kind of want to do something that everybody ain't doing. I want to do something different, and that's why I'm kind of like I don't really have a set format other than whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever bug is getting up my butt that day. But anyway, like I said, um, let's see here. Let's see here. What's going on? An hour 44 minutes. Matter of fact, I am going to cut it at an even hour 45. So I've got a minute, and I'm going to shut it down, y'all. And maybe pop back in later, or I might pop in another stream and see you guys there. Who knows? I don't know who's doing anything. It is Monday afternoon, so I really don't know if anybody's doing anything or what everybody's doing. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on myself. And like I said, hey, Dragnet Transparency, man, I don't know if you can do StreamYard and all that stuff, but like, hey, if I pop back on later on or whatever, and you come back in, if you feel like you want to get up on the panel and have a talk or whatever, that'd be cool too. Like I said, I'm trying to find people to have substantial conversations with, something that makes people think about things. But anyway, it's a double one, double two, Wing Nut Radio, out here for Anarchy Television, and I'm back out.